Very few people are growing variegated banana plants up north. They're pretty rare, and there's almost no information online for northern gardeners about what it's like to keep these alive inside the house during the winter. But I've had this one now for 2 full summers, almost 3 years now, and I want to share my experiences because it's finally doing really well. This is the first year that it's gotten big, so let's talk about variegated banana plants. So Musa bananas have been on my wish list for about 20 years almost now. I was a little kid when I decided this was a plant that I wanted. Why do I want it? Well, I mean, just look at this thing. So this is a pretty rare banana for northern growers called a Musa Sikkimensis. It has totally green leaves at this stage in its life. It's cold tolerant, it's beautiful, all that great stuff. But the Musa banana, it just has a little bit more flair to it. Look at these leaves. They have zebra-like foliage, these beautiful creamy whites and grays in the leaves. It is just spectacular. And that is what I love about variegated plants in general. So a brief overview about variegated plants, and then I'll talk about what my care conditions are like for this one. Variegated bananas and plants in general can be pretty rare, and the reason why is because they arise from a random mutation usually. It could be 1 in a million sometimes. So variegated plants are rare, not only because of that, but because they're slower growing. So they're going to be more difficult to propagate, and people love them. So it's a supply versus demand kind of thing, right? Now, there's some variegated plants that are actually pretty common. At least in the tropics, you'll find lots of variegated sea hibiscus. They grow surprisingly fast for a variegated plant, and part of the reason why is because they're not truly white. These variegated spots may look white, but if you see the way that it emerges off of the tree. This is a brand new leaf. How adorable is this, by the way? It's a heart-shaped leaf that's red. This is a plant you gotta have. This may never produce a single flower in its life up here in New York, but you gotta grow this. So variegated plants are just spectacular, but this one isn't quite as creamy white as you get with the variegated banana plants. And speaking of variegated banana plants, not all of them produce white variegation. This is a blood banana, and it has red in it. So the thing about red is that red is still going to produce energy for a plant because there's still chlorophyll underneath those red spots. The red is just a pigment within the leaves. My Musa Siam ruby banana is a good example of an all red banana. This plant has plenty of fast growth in it, and you see a lot of times with fall foliage, for example, there's red in leaves. And so all leaves have red pigment in them. Some, like that one that I just showed you on my Siam Ruby, just has more pronounced red in it than others. So the point being is that a lot of variegated plants don't truly have a lot of white in them, and it just sort of appears white, and that keeps them growing fast. My Plumeria is another good example of this. Do you see how the new leaves are kind of emerging a little bit reddish, and then they turn into this white? So that makes them more sun tolerant, and it does allow the plant itself to grow a little bit faster. Anyway, I'm obviously obsessed with variegated plants. So let me talk to you about this Musa banana plant and why I absolutely love it. So firstly, it's rare, and rare plants are an honor to get to grow because I get to sort of see what they grow in, like in these conditions. Musa bananas are tricky even in the tropics because they burn when they get too much sun, but like most banana plants, they actually need sunlight. So you may notice that some of the leaves earlier this season have these burns on the white parts only. So this is an example of that. This is an example of that. But it's actually growing surprisingly fast, about a new leaf every single week. So what's the secret here? So I got my Musa banana as a pretty decent sized plant back in October 2023. This is now 2025, so it's going on 2 years old now. And the first summer I really struggled because I kept it in a container. Most banana plants really just don't like to be in containers, I've noticed. You grow a banana plant in a container, it's gonna grow slow. It just is because of the underground structure of these plants that they don't like to be kept in containers. By the way, there's two types of Musa variegated bananas that are somewhat available. There are more than that, but the two that are easy to confuse is the Musa AA, which is what this was sold as. It has these nice white stripes on it with some gray markings as well. And then there's the Musa Florida, which is actually what I believe this one is. And the one way you can tell the difference, Musa Florida is easier to grow, and on the margin of the leaves, I've been told that Musa Florida, just a different variety of variegated banana, has pink in it. And this does have pink margins on the edges of the leaves. So that's how you tell them apart. I love them both, but I've been told Musa Florida is easier to grow. And this has been very easy for me to grow once I put it in the ground. So I put it in the ground in like May or June of this year, and it has absolutely taken off. So what you're seeing here is growth since July. It had more leaves on it that it grew in June, but those leaves have since fallen off. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 leaves in the past about 2 months. It's growing about a leaf a week, and that is perfect for a banana plant. So it's now much taller than me. So keep in mind, you know, last summer, I only got a few leaves from it in a container, and that was it. So I'm a little bit nervous because this is the first year I'm putting it in the ground, and you might be thinking, oh, how are you going to overwinter that in the ground? I'm not going to overwinter it in the ground. Musa variegated bananas like this, Musa Florida, I've been told can survive some cold and this and that, but I'm not risking it. I'm absolutely going to put this, like I did last year, under grow lights inside the house. And I have it right next to a very sunny window. I keep my house cool during the winter time in the 60s, about like 20 degrees Celsius. That's where I like to keep my house during the winter, and it kind of keeps these plants in a semi-dormant state, but well above freezing. So I keep it cool and I keep it bright, and that's what gets it through the winter, cool and bright. And then in the spring and summer, it absolutely loves sunlight. What I've noticed that's different about this variegated banana from my other banana plants is that it can dry out a little bit. I don't give it, I give it as much water as my other banana plants, but it's actually growing on a very slight hill, so that way it doesn't sit in water, because I'm very worried about rot. I'm excited, by the way, because I do have a pup. And I hope that this pup will be variegated just like its mother. But again, this is the first year that I've put it in the ground, and I've been very happy with it in the ground. So my recommendation, if you're gonna grow any banana plant, is get that baby in the ground. It's going to grow so much faster. So let me do a little tour of my banana plants. I have a lot of different varieties. I truly believe in banana plants for the tropical look. Stay tuned. I will show you my Musa Basjoo, which is the most cold hardy banana plant in the world, at the very end. But I want to show you a few that I'm experimenting with. All of these are cold tolerant-ish bananas, aside from the Musa AA, which is, as I learned, actually a Musa Florida banana. All of these are cold tolerant. So that's the Musa AA. This one is a Musa Sikkimensis. Musa Sikkimensis is a temperate banana species. It comes from a temperate part of the world, temperate parts of Asia, higher elevations. Why is that important? Well, I was able to store this in the garage, and all of my tropical banana plants that were stored in the garage died. That Tibocina, by the way, these beautiful blue flowers, I also stored in the garage. My garage stays above freezing, but not by much. It's barely above freezing, and it's totally pitch black all winter long. So that's why I believe in banana plants, because most banana plants, you can keep them dormant, you can cut off all the leaves and just keep it stored like you would an elephant ear plant, and it's gonna survive. But unfortunately, they're very sensitive to winter moisture, and we have very wet winters here. My garage is very wet, very damp in the winter time because it's kind of underground, and that's what killed most of my tropical bananas. So Musa Sikkimensis is hardy in the sense that it's great and really easy to overwinter but in the house, but I just don't know if it would overwinter in the ground here very well. I am going to experiment with it this year. I have one at my parents' house. I'll let you know if I see as much success with it coming back from the ground as I do with my most cold hardy banana the Musa Basjoo. I'm growing another banana plant that is allegedly as cold hardy as a Musa Basjoo. It's called a Mekong giant banana. The main difference is the stem is a lot skinnier, in my opinion, than Musa Basjoo. It's kind of like straighter, more upright. And the pups, the babies, don't develop next to it. It develops sometimes several feet away from the mother plant. So that'll be kind of interesting. It's a fast-growing banana plant. This was such a tiny baby. It was like the size of the palm of my hand, and look at it now. It is huge. So this was a mail-order banana plant. Another mail-order banana plant that was the size of the palm of my hand this spring was my Musa Velutina. This is a dwarf pink banana, and it is very close to producing bananas. So usually it takes 2 years at the most to get a beautiful flower from this. The pink banana plant does produce pink bananas, and it has a beautiful pink flower. Why can't I talk? So right about this size is where you'll get a pink banana. Maybe it's not too late. They're very quick to produce bananas, so it's actually possible, even though it's nearly September, that I'll get some fruit from this, but we'll see. It's if it doesn't, then it'll produce fruit next year. It's pretty cold tolerant. I am going to dig this up and store it in my garage, but I know some people who mulch them, and they do survive the winter in zone 7 with enough mulch. So that's a cold tolerant banana. Musa Siam Ruby, very little information online. So I'm giving you 2 banana plants that very few people are growing up north. We have the Musa Florida Variegated Banana. Very few people are growing up north, and I've had success with it. And this one, the Musa Siam Ruby, I keep it under a grow light all winter long, and it actually does very, very well inside the house underneath the grow lights. It requires a lot of heat, and it actually looks very different at the start of a year than it does at the end of a year. These trunks are really skinny, so every time I take it outside, the plant wants to collapse on itself. But this year, it did very well. It actually behaved itself. Last year, every single stem collapsed. They just all fell off and fell over, and I had to start from square one. But it's pretty fast growing, so anyway, I've had a lot of fun growing that banana plant, and it's been really, really just gorgeous with those pink leaves. Another banana plant I'm growing, this one's also tropical. It's a blood banana plant, and this one you just keep in the house like a house plant. And all of these banana plants do horrible inside the house, by the way. There's really no point in growing a banana plant inside the house thinking that it's going to do well in the house. It just doesn't. They need too much heat, too much humidity. If your house is getting that kind of heat and humidity, you probably have mold in your house, to be honest. Hate to tell you. Like, that's the kind of heat and humidity that these plants thrive in. So my goal during the winter is to just keep them alive. That's it. Super easy. I've got 3 more banana plants in the front, 4 more banana plants actually. There's one I'm experimenting with. I got from Brian's Botanical, and they're located in Tennessee. They have some unusual banana plants, and this is a Ensete Maurelli. And it's just an unusual variety of Ensete banana. Allegedly, it is native to like the Sahara part of Africa, where it totally dries up in the winter time. So I don't know, it could be pretty cold tolerant because of that ability to dry up in the winter. It's sort of a dwarf banana. Banana plants, like I said, don't do well in containers, but I just put this one in the container because I really didn't know what to expect out of it, and I wanted to see what this plant looked like before I experiment with putting it in the ground to any capacity. Let's meet back up in the front because I have 3 more banana plants in the front of the house. This is the other version, the more common Ensete banana variety. You're going to see this at almost every nursery in New York during the summertime. It's an Ensete Maurelli. It naturally has these beautiful red leaves. Just like my variegated banana, this is a colorful one, and it's really, really cold hardy. This is another one that I keep in the garage without a problem. So all my banana plants are honestly pretty cold tolerant. This can handle temperatures down to like 20 degrees without any damage, and it does really well inside the garage during the winter time because it has a very thick trunk. So this trunk is where all the energy stays during the winter. I cut all the leaves off, and this big boy is really heavy, and it just sort of just, you know, hangs sideways in the garage right over here. Do you see the garage? Hold on, let me pop right over. Do you see that? So everything just goes there, and it's happy. So that's Ensete Maurelli. I've had this for 3 years now. Very expensive banana plant when you buy it at full price, but I always get it at the end of the season as a discount. That's where I got this one, and I've had it for 3 years. It has definitely paid for itself. Underneath this is a Musella Lasciocarpa. Is it even a banana plant? Honestly, the jury's out because it doesn't produce bananas. It has the most gorgeous flower, and I have another video where I've showed the flower on this before. I grew this in South Carolina, and it flowered all winter long. It was just the coolest thing in the universe, and it's cold hardy. It's very cold hardy, so I may experiment with that one in the ground one day, but it will need mulch to survive. The one banana plant that I can guarantee you does not need mulch, does not need special cover, protection, anything like that, is right over here. My Musa Basjoo banana. Here she is. It's getting really big now. The secret to getting Musa Basjoo bananas to survive the winter is that it has to be big enough. You can't start with a baby plant and expect it to survive the winter. The plant itself above ground is not cold hardy. Just like any other banana plant, it's gonna drop dead as soon as a freeze hits it. But here's the thing, the underground root system is very, very, very hardy to cold. So when it dies to the ground, it doesn't actually die. It can handle extreme cold. Most banana plants can actually handle some cold. I've had banana plants survive temperatures that are well below freezing in Florida and South Carolina, and they come back from their roots. But they can't handle prolonged freezes. Once the ground freezes, they're done, those tropical bananas. But this one, the ground can freeze over and over again, and it doesn't have a problem. A lot of people put mulch just so that way it's even more protected. I don't. I just let it do its thing, and it's getting very, very big now. Lots of babies associated with it too. In between here somewhere, there's a really cool hardy hibiscus, but this plant is so massive that it is actually just like buried the hardy hibiscus at this point. But yeah, so this is getting to a size now where it's almost able to start fruiting. The fruit isn't edible, and when I say that, I don't mean it's toxic. It isn't toxic. It's just like a seed pod. That's all it is. It's just covered in seeds inside. It's called the Japanese fiber banana because it's basically like just eating fiber. It's like eating a loofah. So that's about it. That's all of my banana plants that I'm growing right now, but I've grown a lot of other species in the past and have either killed them or given them away. So if you have a question about a banana plant in particular, let me know, and I may have grown it before. Also, what's your favorite type of banana plant? Do you like growing banana plants? Let me know, because I believe that these really are the easiest plant to give you that tropical look, and it's one of the most fun too, because you never know if you're gonna actually get some banana fruits from it. See y'all, bye.